Day 36. And what happened in the last 48 hours inside Iranian airspace that has just changed every calculation on the table? 7 United States military aircraft, not one, not two, but 7, have been struck by Iranian surface-to-air missile system in a coordinated engagement that defense officials are now privately calling the most serious direct hit on American hardware since the Gulf War. The Pentagon has not confirmed casualties yet, but the satellite imagery coming out of the region tells a story that no press briefing can spin away from. And right now, somewhere in Washington, the decision that could trigger a ground invasion of Iran is sitting on a desk, waiting just for a signature. Now, stay with me because this is moving faster than any news cycle can keep up with. Welcome to the Global Observer. If you found this video, you already know that what you are getting here is not just sanitized version of the news. We break down what's actually happening, why it's happening, and what it means for the world you live in. Subscribe right now and hit the bell icon because in situations like this, 24 hours of not knowing is 24 hours too many. Now let's go back 36 days because context is everything. When the Revolutionary Guard launched its first provocative naval maneuver near Strait of Hormuz 5 weeks ago, the assessment from Western intelligence agencies was consistent. Iran was posturing economic pressure, domestic unrest, and a government that needed an external enemy to justify its grip on power. The conventional wisdom was that Tehran would push to the edge and then pull back once the diplomatic cost became too high. The assessment is now in serious question because what Iran's Revolutionary Guard has done over the last 36 days is not just posturing. It is a methodological staged military campaign designed with one specific goal in mind: to make any American military response look like the aggressor. Think about that for a moment. Every provocation has been calculated to be just below the threshold that would trigger an automatic military response. Tankers shadowed but not sunk, crews detained but released, drones launched but mostly intercepted. Each incident pushing the line slightly further. Each incident giving Iran more data on American response times, radar coverage, and decision-making patterns. Military strategists call this probing, and the Revolutionary Guard has been doing this for the last 36 days straight. And now, this 7 aircraft hit in a single coordinated engagement. Here's what we know about the strike. The aircraft were operating in what the coalition designed as security corridor, a protected operational zone established after the UN monitoring mandate passed last week. The Iranian ground-based radar system tracked the formation. Revolutionary Guards missiles batteries, specifically the Bavar 373 system, which Iran has been quietly upgrading for the past 3 years, engaged simultaneously across multiple vectors. The timing was not random. This was a trap, a carefully constructed kill zone that Iran has been setting up while everyone was watching the diplomatic theater at the Security Council. The question every military planner in the region is asking right now is whether Iran can be beaten in a conventional engagement. The answer to that question has always been yes. The American air power, naval dominance, and coalition assets, Iran cannot match them in an open fight, of course. The Iranian commander knows that. The real question is what Iran's Revolutionary Guard is actually trying to achieve, and the disturbing answer emerging from intelligent analysis is this: they don't need to win, they need to bleed. A ground invasion scenario has now moved from contingency planning to active discussion at the highest level of the coalition command. 3 US carrier groups are currently positioned within strike range of Iran's territory: the USS Gerald R. Ford, the US Dwight D. Eisenhower, and the USS Harry S. Truman combined. They represent the largest concentration of American naval power in the Middle East since 2003 Iraq invasion. Ground assault forces from the 2nd Airborne Division have been placed on elevated readiness. That is not a diplomatic signal. This is a military posture shift. But here's what the mainstream media coverage keeps missing. A ground invasion of Iran is not Iraq. it is not Afghanistan. Iran's geography alone makes it one of the most difficult conventional military campaigns in modern history. The Zagros mountain range, running through the country's interior, creates natural defense terrains that any invading force will have to fight through kilometer by kilometer. Now, it's important to notice, Iran's population is 89 million people. Its military, including Revolutionary Guard forces and Basij paramilitary units, numbers over 500,000 active personnel. And critically, Iran has had 40 years to prepare for exactly this scenario. The underground facilities, dispersed command structures, and pre-positioned weapon coaches. They have planned for the day American boats might cross the border. The Gulf states are watching this with barely concealed panic. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are allied with the coalition publicly, but their governments understand something that Western capitals sometimes forget. They share a neighborhood with Iran permanently. Whatever happens in the next 72 hours, they still have to live next to terrain when it's over. King Salman's government has quietly requested throwback channels that any military action remain airborne and maritime no ground campaign. The reason is simple. A destabilized Iran sends refugee flows, proxy military activity, and economic chaos directly into the Arabian Peninsula. Riyadh is not prepared for that. Meanwhile, oil markets opened this morning with Brent crude at $141 per barrel. That number alone, I tell you, should tell you how seriously the people with real money on the line are reading this situation. For context, at that price, the average household energy in Europe increases by approximately 30% almost immediately. Inflation that had just started to cool across major economies is about to get a second wind from a direction nobody planned for. The next move belongs to Washington, and the decision tree is very brutal. Strike back hard and risks triggering the full regional escalation Iran has been engineering for. Show restraint and signal to every adversary watching that American hardware can be hit without consequence, or find a middle option that satisfies no one and resolves nothing. There is no clean answer here. There never is. When someone has spent 36 days building a trap and you just walked into it. We are going to keep tracking every development on this story, the Pentagon's response, the carrier group movements, and the Security Council emergency sessions now being called for tomorrow morning. This is the kind of movement where being informed is not just interesting, it is genuinely important. Now, drop a comment in the comment section. Do you think the ground invasion happens? And if you know someone following this story, share this video to them. Give them the full picture. Stay sharp, stay informed. We'll see you in the next round. You've been watching the Global Observer.